it does seem like this past year has been quite traumatic in terms of the travesties and tragedies that have afflicted many people. There's been countless accidents and disasters in terms of weather that have struck in such a short time. And maybe it's always that way, or perhaps it is worse. It's hard to tell, but at least it seems so based on how the news portrays it. So, whether it is or isn't, it feels heavy, at least the worldly atmosphere, the tone.
Like my style?
And,
Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos.
As somebody that doesn't really tune in too much to it, I can still feel it to a degree. It's something that is forever present. You talk to people and it does kind of travel to you, even if you're more peripheral to society to some extent. So those perhaps more heavy or negative feelings can arise some in ourselves too, as we feel perhaps the burden of the suffering. Not that we were responsible for it, but we do feel, by connection, some sense of weight. The human experience does connect us all. So if you're somebody who is perhaps of a more tender heart, you may feel a bit more affected and displaced by those emotions. At times, I do feel down myself, Perhaps in my personal life, there aren't always, perfect conditions for me to feel the utmost happiness. And not that there ever really are, but it plays itself out, I think, for me in a way that's related to my personal ambitions. And a lot of cases, those heavier feelings kind of pull me back from my focus and my drive. And I use the metaphor of running because I am a runner, and I feel like at times injury is also a psychological phenomenon. Being struck down, being hurt is something that can affect you on a deep level. It's not just a physical, experience. So these worldly circumstances can induce more psychological ramifications or effects onto you. But it's important to not give up through all of it. It's important to not stray too far from what you believe in and your reasons and motivations for living in the first place. Maybe you aren't where you want to be, and maybe it feels like you've experienced failure after failure, and discouragement after discouragement. You've tried to realize those ideas and visions that you've had, but maybe they seem a bit out of reach. And that's a relatable feeling. I think most of us have felt that way. When I feel like that, I do try to accept the reality of where I am. Being pragmatic and having a logical frame of mind is helpful. It's not always the most, positive per se, because, being in fantasy land sometimes feels good, thinking that you are right around the corner, but a lot of times we're not, And that road to where we want to go is actually quite long. Maybe it's a bit more complicated than we initially thought. And we do have these other things that are coming and interacting with us, maybe sending bad vibes our way, or just sending, energy in general, and it's up to us to kind of make sense of it, if it's, good or bad inherently. And of course, the decision to stick with it or not. Do you want to keep running? Maybe it's easier to not. If the injury is too deep, maybe you would opt to walk for a while, and then maybe when that gets too much, to sit, to wait. But if that's the case, what are you waiting for? If you aren't moving towards something, what are you doing? Maybe you're reflecting, maybe you are considering, contemplating. That's okay, because we all need a moment, however brief, to regroup, to reflect, and to perhaps review where it is we do want to end up. There's many things I want to do and to become. And I know somewhere in the back of my mind that they're all difficult goals. And I have many of them. They're all pulling me in different directions. But the type of person I am, I can't give up. I can't. It's impossible for me. Call me naive, but that's just who I am, I'm determined to make my business a reality. I'm determined to keep writing. I'm determined to take running as far as I possibly can. I'm determined to speak as many languages as I can. I'm determined to find somebody that I might share perhaps my deepest intuitions and ideas with, and who might receive them likewise. I'm determined to spend as much time as I can with my family before they pass on, or I. I'm determined to offer as many acts of kindness as I can to the world, to be the best human I can be, to see as many places as I can see. And there's so much more. So even I'm affected right now. There's many layers to it. There's many, stackings of perhaps unresolved conflicts, scars, baggage. It's like back taxes. You can't completely start fresh. You'll always wear some signs of the past. And you'll always encounter inconvenient, unfavorable, and bothersome situations in the future. But your resolve, your attitude, your mentality, that's the only thing that can keep you grounded. Your faith, perhaps, in the future, in the present, in the life that you are living, in humanity to an extent. Maybe trust that we'll be okay, no matter how many of these disasters and bad events keep springing up, how many people meet their ends in an unfortunate way, that we will be okay. And maybe it will take some time. We will have to grieve to believe that we are better off than we were yesterday, even if we left behind so many. That we are moving. And as long as we're moving, then we haven't given up yet. We're on the path to whatever it is that we want. And, you know, that version of us that we dream of, that we see. Moving means that we are creating, we are becoming. So keep moving. And it's okay to stop, but don't stop too long. Don't get too comfortable. Use what you learn in your moments of introspection and apply it. Use it. And don't be afraid to lose it. Some of these pieces of intuition aren't meant to stay forever. Maybe they're meant to be, you know, used in a particular context and then never to be seen again. Same with people, same with places. So being not overly attached as you pass through also helps. The people that do have some necessity and some, you know, significance in any particular moment will probably make themselves, you know, available to you or accessible if the connection is genuine, authentic, and strong. And if not, you'll find out, and hopefully we'll act on it respectively. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you're doing well, and try to keep your head up, you know, keep moving, keep trying to be whatever it is that you see when you close your eyes. Whatever it is that you believe to be the prize. Peace.